Welcome back to Culture Cast episode. I think this is 26. I keep forgetting to check, but that's a normal thing, so we don't care. Uh, we're just doing check-ins today in this episode, as well as briefly talking about James Harden, where I will accept my L in bashing James Harden, which was necessary. Okay, let's not forget it was very necessary, but the way he's playing with the Clippers right now, and especially the game he just had the other night against the Pacers, it's worth noting. Got to give him his flowers and respect what he's been doing. Yeah, I don't want to see James Harden suck and be a diva. I want to see James Harden play great. So it's nice to see him looking the way he's been looking so far, and the Clippers are probably loving every second of it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we're going to briefly talk about John Morant, who made his debut this season. Obviously, shooter Morant, kind of been out because of some off the court issues, but he's back in the fold now. Grizzlies picking up a win over the Pelicans, 30 some points, game winner. So, and it was a fully healthy Pelicans team. Granted, I think the Pelicans play better without Zion, but still it's gonna be interesting to see how they look. But we will start everything off here. Oklahoma City Thunder. Been about a week since we talked. How
Yeah.
are you feeling since the last time we spoke about the Thunder? What are your thoughts on the last week?
Uh, I you can't say they're not legit anymore. They beat a team that is phenomenal. They beat the Denver Nuggets,
Yeah,
who they had a grind fest with, man. They went to Chet 9 blocks. Insane game for him. Obviously, SGA had a good game. He finally played good against the Nuggets. That feels like that's the first time saying that. He always just puts up a clunker against the Nuggets. I don't know why. I don't know if it's Aaron Gordon that gets to him or what, but man, they finally pulled it off. They won. SGA hit the game winner, of course. Tough game. That was the best win of the season so far. That was hard earned, and it's against the defending champs. I can't be mad. And I mean, the other game, losing to the Kings. I don't know why we always lose to the Kings the last 2 years since they've been good. I don't know if it's their fast-paced offense. That's my guess. Is it's too fast-paced for us? I don't know. They beat us every time we play them. We beat them once, I believe, last year at the season series, and we've already lost them twice this year. I'm expecting them to fully sweep us this year. I mean, they have our number badly. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's so interesting to me why, but the Kings just always give the Thunder problems. And I don't know. Darren Fox, obviously, masterclass game, 41 points,
yeah.
very good efficiency. SG had 43, of course, solid efficiency as well. But man, they have our number for sure. They shoot very well against us from three. Keegan Murray had a pretty good game, but that's not the game he had against Utah. Obviously, he had
Jesus,
a
nearly set the
47-point
record.
game. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. Obviously, Keegan Murray had a great game, but no, the Kings they took care of business. Like I said, I think I've said this last time when they played us. They came in there again. They took care of business. But the time before, they beat us without Fox. So it's like I don't
yeah.
know why. I don't know why they're like this. They have our number. I'll just admit it right there. But then yesterday, Thunder beat Grizzlies. Obviously, without John Morant, they've been one of the worst teams in the West so far. Not a crazy good win, but they beat them by I believe 20, if I remember correctly. So anytime you beat a team by 20, you're supposed to win the games that are in front of you like that. And they've been taking care of business against teams that are definitely worse than them. And I'm glad they're not playing the teams' levels. That's a thing that I've noticed in the past from Thunder teams last year, especially last year when they played teams that were worse than them and they'd lose and it'd be like, you're way better than these guys. You can't be losing like that. But this year they are fully taking care of business against teams that they should be beating. But yeah, no, I can't complain too much. I will say in the Thunder's second half of the Nuggets game, they had an offensive rating as a unit of 130. Josh Giddey had an offensive rating of 93 in the second unit. So he
Yeah.
is still a huge question mark and a big lingering issue going into the season, and he has not really found his way. He did very well against the Kings, but aside from that game, he's had a pretty rough start to say the least. He's not really fitting in. I don't know if it's the Chet fit. I don't know why. He kind of had a slow start last year, but he started to pick it up already by now. It's December. Towards the end of December, it's been 2 months about. He's just not really fitting in with this offense. And
Yeah.
could say, but there is other players that do much more with the ball in their hands. And
I
if
think
you're
it's
not
J Dub
smart,
who stepped in, who kind of like
uh,
surpassed him already. It's like because Giddy's not a floor spacer.
no,
So
and Jalen Williams isn't the best shooter
yeah,
himself, but he can shoot
no,
pretty well at times to where he's just a plus from
Yeah.
three instead of a complete negative. So it's like at this point, I'm starting to think maybe he's the odd man out. Not talking about the obviously not the off court stuff. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But he's just as of a Thunder fan and as a basketball fan and watching it, he has had a really rough start for this team. And for a team like this, you don't want to really ruin this window. And if you got to move on, you got to move on. And I've been seeing a lot of rumors about Lauri Markkanen to OKC with
Yeah.
the picks attached to a Giddy type package, but we will see how that goes. I believe they are shopping for 5 first-round picks for Markkanen, which in nowadays NBA, it's probably not that crazy to say for someone on that much of a
Yeah.
team contract, an all NBA
That too.
player and an all-star. I mean, it's just it is what it is. He's not an expiring deal. He expires next year. It's cheap. I can understand why it's a lot. It's Danny Ainge too, of course, asking for it. So you
Yeah.
know how that guy is. He's gonna always ask for the most he can, and I understand it. But definitely an interesting thing to look at. And as the season goes on, I will be interested in looking into that more because I think that might be a reality sooner than later. I think maybe someone like that. And I've seen Isaiah Stewart rumors, which are very odd to me
Hmm.
because kind of plays a similar role to Jalen Williams from Arkansas, which is just
Yeah.
floor spacing 6'8" forward, which I don't know if I'd really want another Jalen Williams from Arkansas on the team. It just seems a little redundant, but we'll see. There's some trade rumors going around, mostly for bench and a
Yeah.
marketing package. But we will see as that goes on. No really complaints from me. They showed me a lot this week, definitely with that Nuggets win. The defense really stepped up in that game. Obviously, Chet being the anchor of that team, and he's been phenomenal. Again, yesterday with 7 blocks too against the Grizzlies as well. So he's a very good rim protector. That's all I can say is that they have a really
Mhm.
good rim protector. Hopefully they can go grab some more wings that are defensive minded or a few guards that are defensive minded and go from there because I think this team is very special. Just maybe a little more personnel on the defensive side on the ball. But aside from that, not really too many complaints.
Yeah, I really ultimately think, especially with the whole Giddy situation, is just Jalen Williams' ascension has just been
Better.
it happened so quickly. Again, that second half of last season, he
Yeah.
just learned how
Yeah.
to be a ball handler.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now, like, what Giddy provided you doesn't really, it's not, doesn't need, you don't need it because Jalen Williams can do it now. Jalen
Visible.
Williams can't really shoot the three if that
Yeah.
efficiently yet, but he's picking up all the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander little tricks and,
Yeah.
mid-range post, finger rule, all that stuff around the rim. So, again, because Giddy's not a floor spacer, it almost feels like a Ben Simmons situation where it's
Yeah.
like you get great playmaking, you get good touch around the rim,
That's
but he
about it.
can't shoot.
Yeah.
And if you've already got guys that handle the ball and he needs the ball to be
Yeah.
effective, then what the it's
What's
and
the
the
point?
difference is Ben Simmons can defend 1 through 5 at an elite level.
Exactly.
Josh
Yeah.
Giddey can't guard shit. So it's
Exactly.
like, yeah, it just again another situation of redundancy. It's like there's just no ultimate need for a Josh Giddey anymore.
Yeah.
Again, not that he's a bad player, it's just a fit thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
I could look at a team like Miami and say, if they had Josh Giddey, bigger player, someone who doesn't need the, I mean, Kyle Lowry's still a better defender, but
Yeah.
I think Josh Giddey kind of fits the bill for a team like that as a point guard.
Yeah.
But it just the fit with you guys, it just
Interesting.
it's
Yeah.
it's lost. It's not there anymore.
Not right. Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
had Jalen Williams not had the kind of ascension he had,
Then possibly, yeah, I'm with
yeah,
you.
then we're still talking about Josh Giddey being a great player. But it's just again, every game it's like, man, you see how great Chet played? Man, you see how
Yeah.
great Shea played? You see how great Jalen Williams played? Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot they have Josh Giddey. It's like
Yeah.
he's kind of just falling
Yeah.
out of everything. And again, everyone, we're gonna, we all look at what's going on off the court, but this was even happening before that stuff
Sure.
happened, where
Yeah.
it was like,
100%. Yeah.
it kind of just feels like he's been left out, and
Yeah.
you know, that happens sometimes because we talked about it's like when you have so many young guys, not all of them are gonna like pan out or even pan out in the way you expected.
Yeah. And I
So
mean, even a
yeah,
plus, like for a draft pick. I mean, he's not a bust by no means,
no,
but
no, no,
he's just a
yeah,
very limited skill set. And I think that's fine. I think that's
yeah,
great for players that are specialized in certain things. It's just on a team like this, he is just not a fit. And you have much better players that can produce more with the ball in their hands. It's the same thing as like what we were saying about D'Angelo Russell. It's just I want the ball in Shea's hands. I want the ball in Jalen Williams' hands more. I want the ball in Chet's hands more. It's just he
Yeah,
just he doesn't feel a need to have the ball in his hands that much. And someone like Markkinen, who is phenomenal off the
off the
ball,
ball
like,
and as a cutter,
he's
post up
like
guy. Yeah,
I was like looking at like the stat. He's like a top 5 off ball player. It's
yeah,
like it's insane. It's like, yeah, this guy would obviously benefit the offense way more. And he's not a
and
small
defense.
defense.
No,
He's not. He can
yeah,
guard bigger guys. He's like a 3 through 5 type of guy who can guard a
exactly.
lot of positions. So it's like,
Yeah,
man, you gotta. I don't know. It's just I seeing what happened to us the first time with the Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Harden. It's just you got to capitalize on the situations. You don't always come around to great teams like this. You don't
no, yeah,
get great like generational type players at a young age like this. You got to go out and you got to get the right pieces next to them. And I hope Presti has learned from the first time, hey, we have a window, a big window, sure, but you got to capitalize on it as fast as you can sometimes because it's just like I don't know. Seeing it the first time, us being a small market team, you got to do it. I mean, it's just
yeah.
with a plethora of picks that we're not going to use. It's just it is what it is. No,
Exactly. That's the other thing. Yeah. You're
you
just
got to
not
get
gonna. You
well.
don't need them.
Don't need 30
Yeah.
draft picks in 7 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up. It's like you're not going to be able to have 30 players on a team. So it's like
Yeah.
to ship some of these people off, and we got to get some more pieces, man. I mean, the team is phenomenal, sure, but if you want to contend this year, you got to go grab someone else. And then next year, you're probably one of the favorites if you have someone like that on your team.
Yeah.
So it is what it
Bringing
is.
in a Lowry, bringing in
Yeah.
like a DeMar DeRozan, just anyone like a good three for you guys or a good two, just someone. I mean, again, anyone who can kind of just fill in the minutia of the game.
Yeah,
It's just shot creation. It's the same thing
definitely.
with so many teams. It's just God, if we just had one guy that can
Yeah,
just, hey, now we need you to score, go do it.
yeah,
Like then
exactly.
so many teams would be better off. But no, yeah, like you guys are still a great team. It's just like we were saying about the standings. For me, until the defense gets like
Tightens
you
up.
know
Yeah,
gets more consistent, and then there's like a more defined bench unit, or at least
definitely.
a more consistent bench unit. I'm still a little bit shaky. I still think they're definitely a deep playoff team and
Yeah,
potentially a finals team. So it's just if they could get those things on board,
yeah,
then I don't think there's much stopping them because Shea is impossible to guard.
yeah.
Jalen's already becoming an issue. Lou Dort's a great defender. Chet's a problem. And
Yeah.
then you add in a Larry Markin, and it's like, well, what the fuck do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
So
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't know. It's just it's right there, man. And they
yeah,
want he doesn't fit their timeline. It's like you got to go out. Presti's a negotiator too, so you might
yeah,
not have 5 draft picks. It might be less, but even then, it's like you
because
don't
you
need
have young talent too. That's the other thing is it's not like
exactly.
you're not just limited to draft picks. You've got
Yeah,
Jalen Williams from Arkansas, who you could say, you know what,
exactly.
maybe not. You've got Casey
Yeah,
Wallace, who I would say is a lock, but at the same time, it's like if you're getting offered Larry Markin, and it's like, is
you
Casey
might do it.
Wallace a lock?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
not.
You might take marketing. Yeah, no, that's for sure. Because
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's the thing, man. I mean, I'm with you. Giddy, he's still a young player. He's like 21, I think, still.
Oh,
So
they're children. They're very young.
yeah,
They're.
it's like, yeah, you gotta, I don't
Yeah.
know. Definitely a lot of moves to be made, but I definitely think, yeah, I would love to keep Kaysen, but if you're getting offered Lord Markkinen, it's like, man, like
Yeah.
that's Lord
It's
Markkinen.
shit. Yeah, like I was telling you guys in the group chat, like, yeah, I'm sure teams are going to be looking at packages to get Markin and Clarkson. Like I
Yeah,
could see a world where you guys are like, look, I'll give you Giddy, two firsts,
Eric,
and Kasem Wallace. You hand me Markkinen and Jordan Clarkson and
please,
give us a
yeah,
six man. So it's like,
legit. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
who can
no,
run that second unit as well and be another main scorer, someone you could also put next to Shea in some lineups. So I think there's a ton of stuff for you guys to do. And I think the nice thing is like the Warriors, if they want to make something happen, it's going to involve Andrew Wiggins and Kaminga and then whatever else. Like it's probably going to be that. And at this point, it wouldn't shock me if teams are going to get stingy and ask for Pajemski as well because of how well he looks or how
yeah,
good he looks. But like you guys, Jesus Christ. I mean, for the next like 3-4 years, you can make as many fucking trades as you want. You got that much draft capital.
yeah, exactly.
So
I hope they definitely consider that and they swing something this year because I think this team's good enough to contend at a possible level. If they just get, like you said, just a little more bench consistency would be nice. Just like Jordan Clarkson would be a phenomenal fit. And even if they
Mhm.
don't get marketing, getting someone just like Clarkson, I think would be perfect
Yeah,
next to someone like Kaysen. I mean, Kaysen is phenomenal in his own right, but he's not there creating his own shot right now. He's still at
yeah,
times he looks a little nervous to do stuff offensively, but I think that's fine. He's a rookie. It makes sense. He's still efficient, crazy efficient right now, but you need someone like that can just create their own shot like that. And I mean, Isaiah Joe's been very solid too, but like someone like Clarkson, man, who has become in his own right a very solid playmaker at times. And
yeah,
I mean, he's a scorer. We all know that, but he can play make as well. It's like it would be really nice to have someone like that just to
yeah.
create their own shot off the bench. Because right now we're lacking someone who can create their own shot very well like that. And it would be nice. I definitely think Clarkson is like one of the like a top 5, 6 man. I mean, he's phenomenal off the bench.
Yeah, that would be a perfect fit. And it's kind of like with Isaiah Joe, it's almost like a Clay thing. It's
Yeah.
like, can he technically get his own? Sure. But
Yeah.
he's not, you don't want Isaiah Joe going and
Having to create
creating.
it every time. Yeah,
Yeah, you
exactly.
want him to be off the ball. That's strong suit. Those wing threes, those hash mark threes.
Yeah.
Isaiah Joe kills it,
Yeah.
corner threes. But once you put the ball in his hands, yeah, he's still kind of capable, but
Yeah.
you're losing out on what makes him him. So
Yeah, exactly.
um, so to move on to the Warriors side of things have been a little bit interesting,
Yeah.
to put it lightly. Obviously, in that Phoenix Suns game, Draymond Green ejected. Obvious suspension. Like right when he swung, I was like, yeah, he's gone. He's
Yeah.
gone. Yeah. Um, However, if it's a Ja Morant thing, it's an indefinite suspension. So supposedly he's not going to be back for at least another 3 weeks, which will pretty much be a month without Draymond, who already missed like 5 or 6 games. So it's this is a tough stretch for the Warriors, even though they're starting to enter that easier schedule. They are playing the Celtics right now, but they're gonna be having a lighter schedule soon. But without Draymond, man, things are just gonna be tough. It's just that's how big a role he plays. But uh one of the bright spots from that Suns game was the fact that that bench unit, they ended up closing the game. They closed for Wiggins and they closed for Klay Thompson, who got sat. Wiggins only played 5 minutes the entire second half. Um, Obviously, I've ranted plenty about Andrew Wiggins and just Andrew and Klay not being up to par. Granted, I've talked quite a bit about how I think Klay is just a byproduct of Wiggins' failure, as we've seen the last few games where Klay Thompson has been fucking incredible since Wiggins has gone to the bench, which is what we're going to get into. After that Suns game, Wiggins got benched. And so Pajemski, who unfortunately just ended up leaving with a lower back strain, hopefully nothing serious. But up until then, Pajemski and Kaminga replacing Draymond have been starting in place of Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green. And I think they look solid. Like, I really, really, really like Pajemski. I'm glad that Steve Kerr did not decide to go with Chris Paul starting with Steph. That was my first worry, is I know this motherfucker is going to start Chris Paul. He didn't do that. Um, I I'm glad that that didn't happen. I think that would have been a really bad thing for the defense, the offense consistency as well, and just those first 6 7 minutes against an opponent can a lot of the times dictate a game, especially with a team like the Warriors who just don't have the shot creation to get themselves back into games after big deficits. So starting Pajemski has been huge. He's been absolutely incredible. I've liked what I've seen from Kaminga. I think he's kind of just the one thing I will say is he's playing with more assertiveness and aggressiveness. And his touch around the rim is improving, which was a big issue of mine. Is like he seems to shy away from contact and post ups and everything, but his footwork looks like it's been improving. He's been more willing to take shots and just get shots off and go get a bucket when he needs to. These are positive steps. Again, because of Jonathan Kaminga's situation, as opposed to a rookie like Wembanyama, who is just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go play. We're not winning, so let me just go do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Kaminga has to earn his minutes. He is not gonna play if he does not earn his minutes. So he doesn't really get to try things, take chances, risks, and stuff like that. So for him, his development take is going to take longer, just naturally. Pajemski is a rarity. I like Warriors fans need to understand that Pajemski, guys like that just immediately are like great players, does not come often. Now, Pajemski's ceiling may not be a ceiling like Kaminga's, but still, the immediate impact that this dude's had is pretty incredible. People forget that Jordan Poole had like 2, 3 seasons where he really had to grind his ass off to get that spot in that rotation. So right now, I think it's the same three issues for the Warriors. They've won since that Thunder game. They lost to the Suns, they lost to the Clippers, and then they beat the Nets at home and they beat the Blazers on the road. That was a back-to-back too, which made it all the more impressive, given how the Warriors just have not really been good on back-to-backs, especially on the road. Um, but I think it's the same three things, you know, turnovers, fouling, shot creation.
Yeah.
Same three things. It's been the same three things for the last like 3 years. It's never going to not be the same three things until they make a change.
Yeah.
And will if they're them making a change remains to be seen. I mean, as we speak, there's 10 minutes left, and the Warriors are down 11 to the Celtics. Steph Curry with 5 fouls. You know, who's going to be the guy? Or well, he's playing right now, but he just turned it over. Who's going to be the guy that steps in and helps out? I mean, Clay's played incredible these last few games. He's really getting to where he needs to be, just making the right plays, but also not being an on-ball threat. He's been more off-ball, more hesitant to, I'm just going to go get it kind of thing. And because of that, he's done well. And so, I think it's a matter of, are you going to make a move or not? Because
Yeah.
if they don't, you're going to continue to sit in the spot that you were in not only last season, but in 2021, where it's just win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. And you never really get any sort of momentum, you know? I think right now against the Celtics, the pretty obvious thing is the Celtics just outmatch us in size. Can't really do anything. Can't stop them. No way to really defend them. Your two best defenders, perimeter wise, one of them foul happy, can't stay down. The other one just hasn't been there since 2022. So, well, how do you overcome that? To me, that's like that might be too much to ask for at this point. Like, who can you really bring in that can alleviate all that? So, um, other than that, I think the Warriors are kind of just in the same spot. It's nothing's really changed other than Trace Jackson Davis has got some more minutes. He had a great game against Portland. Shout out to Trace. Um, and he earned his minutes. He's playing again tonight. Granted, I think also it's just like, you know, Kevon Looney. As much as I respect his Iron Man streak, it's clearly taking a toll on him. Like he just physically, he's looking slower. A little more. What is the word? Like just
All
slower, slower. He's just not looking the same. So, yeah. Oh shit, Warriors are only down 6 now, making a little bit of a push. But yeah, that's about it for the Warriors. What are your thoughts on them, Pat? Since then,
I mean, same thing like you said. I still think they're kind of sitting in mediocrity right now, and they're sitting 11th in the West. And like we've mentioned, man, the West, you can't really play around. 11th is not a good place to be in the West. It's not a bad place to be because you're only separated by the 8th seed by a few games, if that. I mean, it's
yeah,
all very close, but you want to be ahead of the pack instead of being in the back. And I mean, that's just how it is. You guys are still hell of a team for sure. Glad to see Clay playing a lot better, but yes, you are right. 100% with Wiggins being on the bench has benefited Clay significantly. You have people that aren't afraid to take shots. You have people that have been playing very well next to Clay. And I'm not really surprised by it. I knew in a few months he's going to get his legs under him. And it's December. This is what happened. The same thing as last year.
yeah,
It took him a few months to get into the rhythm. And once he got in, he was in it for the rest of the year, pretty much, aside from the playoffs, the second round, that is. But no, definitely a very good start for him to hopefully go into the new year with. And like you say, I think this team is in dire need once again of making a move. It's not going to change. I think it's needed. Like you said, the schedule does get easier, which is very nice. And I hope that doesn't make them shy away from wanting to do a trade. But I still think if you got someone, just someone like a DeMar DeRozan where the package isn't too crazy and you can get someone like that, why not? I mean, you don't, the years they're coming, man. I mean, he can only be so young for so long. It's just, it is what it is, but definitely like to see Clay playing a lot better. That is very, very nice to see. And I can imagine as a Warrior fan, him hitting his shots and him playing significantly better. It just can't be understated. It's probably huge. But
Yeah.
aside from that, like you're saying, the Draymond suspension is very big. It's going to impact your defense, obviously, and it's going to impact some certain playmaking abilities that he has. But it's just, I don't know at this point. It's very interesting the route that he went with the game. I don't know why he did that personally.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was just a temper issue. He lost it there. I mean, it happens, but yeah, like you're saying, I could imagine a lot of frustration with this team right now for a team that probably should be performing a little better. And like you've mentioned, it really relies on one guy. And I think at this point in the season, he's not going to live up to that expectation. Last year, he had such a weird season to where it's like, can you really rely on this guy? It is what it is, but I think it's time to move on. The Wiggins experiment was very fun and it worked for a bit of time for sure. But
Yeah.
now I it is time to move off of that and go in a different direction, which, like you're saying, man, DeMar DeRozan sounds fun with the Warriors, but we will see as time goes on. But no, definitely a team that I think can be a title contender very easily just overnight. But as of right now,
Yeah.
for me, they're in the middle of the pack type team in the West. And I think just one move and that kind of home run swing, and we'll see from there.
Yeah, the other thing about landing in mediocrity is it's not like in 2021 or whatever where it's like, yeah, at least we still have a good draft pick. We don't have a pick.
Yeah,
So,
Blazers, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
losing and just sitting here doing nothing and twiddling our thumbs for the rest of the season,
it's
that
not going to
serves
work.
no one. That
Yeah.
doesn't help Steph, that doesn't help the team. We don't get a pick, we don't get anything. It's just you're playing to lose and you
What was
should have
that
made a
trade
move.
from?
Huh?
Trade was that from? Is that from the Gary Payton one or no?
No, that was I think this is the Iguodala trade. The Iguodala pick that moved to the Grizzlies that eventually found its way over to Portland.
Wow.
I
Wow.
think it's that one. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the one that it is.
That is like
It's been
old.
making its way there.
Yeah.
It's been a few years, man.
Wow. It finally is hitting and it's not hitting very nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. If you don't have your, I forgot. Yeah, you're right. You guys don't have your pick. I forgot. Trailblazers own it, and yeah, that's even more reason to swing a trade. Try to win with Steph. I mean,
Yeah, I think the other nice thing is it's like with how well Pajemski's played and the fact that, Chris Paul he
sure.
did have a good like 4 or 5 games of good offense to go along with the playmaking. I think right now it's just, watching him play, everything's short. The legs aren't there. And Chris Paul is only 6 feet tall. We all
Yeah,
know how he shoots, how he plays. He's someone that needs to elevate. He has the over the head jump shot. So it's very much, very leg heavy kind of thing
for sure.
going on there. And especially with, Steph, if he gets into foul trouble like tonight, Chris Paul has to play more.
Yeah,
If Pajemski gets into foul, he has to play more. So Chris Paul's legs aren't getting a break. And with Draymond out, now you lose another playmaker. So Chris Paul has to play more. So it's like it wouldn't shock me if the Warriors try and move Chris Paul as well.
yeah,
Granted, how many teams are going to really
um,
want that? But
yeah,
I think the nice thing is with how well Pajemski has played. I said at the start of the season, and it stands true now. I think now everyone knows, but if you move Chris Paul, Pajemski is ready. Clearly, this dude is built for this shit. Every, excuse me, everywhere, defensively, offensively, hustle. He's ready for it. I don't mind him being at the 6 man. I feel better about him than I did Jordan Poole because Jordan Poole is oh, he's a great scorer, but his decision making is just god awful. Like with
yeah,
Pajemski, the decision making is S tier, both ends of the floor. And the offense, it's just a matter of him gaining confidence within the offense. And once that happens, now you got a complete player. So
yeah,
I'm not worried about him whatsoever. But it's just they need, like you said, man, they need that shot creation. They need that guy to alleviate pressure, and they've got the contracts to match teams with. They've got picks in the future they can move. They've got Kaminga and Moses Moody, Trace Jackson Davis. They've got a few young guys. At this point, don't move Pajemski.
Yeah.
Pajemski to me, not only is he just like someone where like we said it about Poole, but because he kind of looked like Steph doing the crazy creative shit with Pajemski, that's someone where I'm genuinely like seriously saying that's someone I want a part of my future.
Yeah.
That's someone that's like irreplaceable, not happening. You could take Kaminga, frankly. Like I've said before, I'm fine moving Kaminga at this point. I'm fine moving Moses Moody. Those two guys could be something elsewhere, but here it feels like there's a ceiling. There's just a cap to what they can do. And until they're elsewhere, I don't know if we're gonna see the potential of those guys show through. At least as far as Steph has anything to say about it. So um, make a move. Dunleavy, man, get on the phone, start calling Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, DeMar DeRozan, Larry Markin, and Jesus, he might bleed you dry, Danny Ainge, but still just check. Julius Randle, fuck, I don't care. Jimmy Butler, bring him over. Anyone. Like, God damn, if you can shoot the ball, get the fuck over here. God, I'm so fucking tired of this shit. All right. Other than that, yeah, the Warriors kind of same spot. Same few things, same bitching and moaning. Nothing really has changed there. To move on from there, briefly want to give James Harden his flowers. And first, accept my James Harden apology form. I apologize, good sir. You have exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
Now, did I expect, is he playing like 2018 Harden, averaging 37 for a stretch of time? No. But he's playing good basketball. He's engaged defensively, and the team looks good with him on the floor. He doesn't look like a net negative. The effort's there, the energy's there. He looks like he's got some of his burst back, his athleticism, looks more confident out there,
Yeah.
isolation, all that stuff. James Harden looks more normal than I've seen him since like 2019. It's
Yeah.
been a long time since I've seen James look the way he's looked. Not
For
that he wasn't bad in Philly. It was just he was in a different spot.
slower. Yeah.
Yeah. He was
Sluggish, slower,
very he
nasty.
kind of just turned into like, you know, a mid Trey Young,
Yeah.
honestly, like just a mid Trey Young. But
Yeah.
no, I think James, the floor is open for him. Again, Zubats is kind of like a roamer kind of guy. Even though
Yeah.
he can roll and has some touch, he's not Embiid, where it's like, okay, Embiid's got it.
Need the
Everybody
ball.
move.
Yeah.
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 Kawhi could sit on the perimeter. Paul George could sit on the perimeter. Powell could sit on the perimeter. They've got a ton of lineups where James can just go.
Yeah.
So I like what I'm seeing so far. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games. The Clippers are in that time frame. James Harden is averaging where is it? Here we go. 20 and a half points, 4.5 rebounds, and nine assists. Like he looks like he did last season statistically,
But
but
he does not. Yeah.
no, the games show a
Yeah.
different picture. He looks a lot better, a lot more comfortable out there. Um, and that last game against Indy, like I was saying at the start of this, 35 points, 3 boards, 9 assists, a steal, a block, only 1 turnover, only 2 fouls, shot 12 of 16 from the field, 8 of 11 from three, and only took 3 free throws. We all know he's a merchant. This dude only took 3 free throws in this game and still dropped a cool 35 on a good Indiana Pacers team.
Yeah.
So I'm really impressed with how he's looking. I'm impressed with the Clippers as a whole.
Yeah.
Kawhi's durability this season has been impressive. The young guys that they've got on that team. I mean, we said like James Harden might help, but you gave up so much to get him.
Yeah.
Is this gonna, is there gonna be a net positive in this? And I think it's safe to say Kobe Brown's lived up.
Yeah.
Amir Coffey's lived up. Obviously, with Mason Plumlee coming out or going out, bringing in Daniel Tice, he's lived up. So I think the Clippers look really solid. What are your thoughts so far on Harden and the Clippers and how everything's going there?
Just his activity on the defensive end, man. I can't state that enough. I've not seen him play defense like this in a while. He is playing very hard on that side of the ball, which it's James Harden, man. I mean, you're never expecting too much on that side of the ball from him, but definitely
Yeah.
Houston, he was solid on defense. But this year, he looks like he's really in tune. Like he really wants to play defense. He really wants to win. It looks really good right now on paper. This team and the way they've been playing, it looks very good. And it looks like a dangerous playoff team. But we will see. It's a long season. The Clippers have questionable health, but they, as of right now, man, I have realistically no complaints about them. They look phenomenal. They look like a team that I don't want to play. I will say that. They are
Yeah.
a phenomenal, nasty team at the moment, and they are sitting in sixth, like you said. Went on a pretty bad 6 game losing streak there, and they managed to get their way into the sixth seed in the West. So they're probably just going to keep shooting up those standings. So I mean, it
Yeah.
is the Clippers, man. They're looking very good, and yeah, I was kind of in the same boat as you. Wasn't hate on Harden crazy lot, but definitely wasn't feeling him as much. But very nice to see him playing good basketball again and winning basketball. That's contributing mostly because of him. And I think right now he's on a different level. He's definitely, like you said, he's not going to be on that 2018-19 Harden level, but he is somewhere in between where he's in between last year and then those years. He looks very good. And like you said, that burst, he looks very good driving. He looks very, very healthy. Like he looks like James Harden. He doesn't look sluggish. He has that quick first step back. I'll say
Yeah.
that. He looks definitely a lot better. And for someone like Harden, who is also playing next to Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, that will be huge come playoff time. And I think he will be a much needed boost at times. But Clippers, man, they got still have very good depth. They're like a nasty team come playoff time. If everything can go their way on paper, they should be definitely one of the favorites for sure.
Yeah. I and still just defensively, they're such a fucking issue because Kawhi can just engulf
Or
everyone.
anyone.
Paul
Yeah.
George can guard anyone,
Yeah.
you know,
They still
like
yeah, they're still phenomenal on defense.
yeah, Harden, I don't know, like sometimes he just doesn't even look like he's there. But
Yeah.
then he's one of those dudes where he's just slick with it, you know? Like he's not a sound defender, but if you get near him, you kind of got to be careful because he just pokes around and
Yeah.
sometimes comes out with the ball. It's fucking annoying, but it's it's like less Iguodala like, but kind of in that realm of just like, oh, now the ball's in James Harden's hand. Okay. So no, I think the Clippers are in a good spot right now, like you said, to bounce back from a pretty atrocious start
Yeah.
and go on this 9-1 streak or stand.
Yeah.
Um, it's impressive. It's impressive, and again against in a very tough Western Conference, every win's going to be important like this. So yeah. Uh, to move on from there, last but not least, we got Ja Morant, man. Briefly going to talk about Ja here. Like I said, just dropped what was it? Uh, 34 points, 6 boards, 8 assists, 2 steals, and a block. In a big win against the Pelicans in New Orleans. Ja's first game back, obviously his debut this season. Um, this was big time. This was big time. I think, I still my thoughts on the Grizzlies remain the same, but I think with Ja there, can they, I think they'll be able to climb back into playoff contention, at least play in. But it wouldn't shock me if we see this big crazy run from the Grizzlies because Ja's just that guy.
Yeah.
He's one of those players. He's like Shea, where it's just really fucking hard to stop him because he's got that first step on you. He's got the toucher on the rim. He gets the free throw calls, and he can kind of hit that mid range. He's got a good little push shot floater. Like the dude's tough, and I mean he went 0 of 5 from three tonight and still dropped 34. You
Yeah.
know, got to the line 12 times. It's just he's a tough cover, man. He's a really
Definitely.
tough cover, and it allows a guy like Desmond Bain, who
Playoff
own
very nicely.
yeah, it's like Clay. Now he just gets to chill off ball. 21 points for Bain. That's all you need from him. Jaron
Definitely.
Jackson Jr. 24 points. That's all you need from him. I mean, he got to the line 15 times, but
Yeah.
Jaron is someone where I'm cool with 15 from Jaron, but the issue is I don't know about you, but the rest of this roster, not another soul can create a shot. Like Desmond Bain is still questionable to me.
Yeah.
Jaron still questionable to me. But Ja, he can get a bucket at any time. Other than that, I don't know who can on this roster. What are your thoughts on Ja and the Grizzlies?
I mean, obviously a huge return. That was a statement win. And as you've said, they are a team with a 0.4% chance to make the playoffs. I don't know how that works. It's really weird how they do the percentages and such,
Yeah,
but
this early too. Yeah.
it's so odd, but to me, but yeah, definitely a team that I think will surge 100%. When he is there, they are usually a top three seed for like the last 2 or 3 years now. They've
Yeah, I
been
think three. Yeah.
yeah, like they've been great every year. So I would 100% expect that team to be able to pick it up, get it going. I think, like you said, Desmond Bane's going to play nicely off of him once again. I am fond of Desmond Bane's game for sure. He's
Mm.
a very interesting player for today's current NBA's landscape of the 3-point shot and how well he shoots it for sure. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of questions when it comes to his shot creation at times. I think over the last few years, I definitely think he's a guy that when he came into the league, at least when I knew him in college from TCU, he was not a guy I would ever expect to be more so of a shot creator like he is right now. So I think him coming into that role, it's still a bit fresh for him, I would say. Definitely last year he took a huge step. I believe he averaged 25 last year. But
24, 25. Yeah, he did have a big leap. Yeah.
yeah, last year he was very good again. But this year, definitely not a rough start, but definitely did not carry the load like I think people thought he might have. And I think it just shows that someone like John Morant's going to alleviate so much pressure off of everyone off this team. You have someone who's just going to drive constantly. He's going to put 100% effort in on every offensive possession. He's just crashing. He's constantly just driving. I mean, he's a nightmare to guard. Like you said, he's a nightmare to cover. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson, yeah, like you said, he's always been a very, very big question mark to me offensively. Just so inconsistent. Bit of a hack on defense. I love the guy. Great defender, great, phenomenal rim protector. But yeah, he is a
Oh,
very
happy.
big
Yeah.
question. Yeah, huge question mark to me at times. But no, they have a team that definitely could swing a few trades, maybe. They have a lot of draft picks and they never seem to want to trade them. But I think around this time, it might be time to move on from some of those guys on that roster because, like you said, they do not have a lick of shot creation from a lot of those guys for sure. But I definitely think this team is most likely playing bound. Playoffs, I'm not going to say it's a reach, but I definitely think it's a reach to say they'll finish with the top five finish.
Yeah. If they made a top five, Jesus, that would be
You
nuts. But
won 40 games straight
yeah,
or
I mean,
something.
you probably looking at potential jaw MVP if that dude could get them from bottom three to potentially a top five seed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's just, I think the sad thing too is guys like Zaire Williams, you know, really that's only left. I don't think Jake Laravia played. Like the young guys that a couple years ago might have been big assets
They
don't
aren't.
have the value.
Yeah, they don't at all.
They lost the value completely. So those draft picks are really all they've got. Especially, but you can't move Steven Adams because he's hurt. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that like right now their fourth best player is probably Bismack Biyombo. Uh,
Yeah.
that's rough.
Who
That's
Kongstar? I don't even know.
yeah,
They have an interesting team. Or
it's a
is it
rough spot
Kongstar?
to be in.
Yeah, I
Concar, they've got or no, Concar's the Nuggets dude.
Nuggets.
Um,
Konchar is the
yeah,
one.
John Concar's on the Grizzlies. They got Santi Aldama, Xavier Tillman. I forgot that Brandon Clark got hurt, so he's out too.
He's out for a bit.
Um,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Roddy.
Roddy's okay. He's nothing crazy
I mean,
special.
he only played 8.5 minutes in this
Yeah,
one. So
he's not a big contributor, but he's interesting at times. But no, they have a
yeah.
very, very odd team constructed.
Yeah, it's just too reliant on Jaw. I think it's just that they need to get
Built it
him
around
that
him.
third guy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And to me, it's got to be a forward. I don't
Yeah,
think like bumping down. I mean, we've seen times where they'll put Desmond Bain at small forward. Dude's only 6'5" and he's not a great defender. I don't think that's smart. Keep him at shooting guard. Um, I don't really like I said last season. I was a big proponent of go after KD, bring
yeah,
in KD, do whatever you have to do to trade for him. They didn't do it, even though they were in the mix. You gotta get a scoring wing, like
yeah.
wherever you can find one. Again, even a DeMar DeRozan would fit, like
Possibly.
just
Yeah.
someone, Jeremy Grant, someone like that. But I think they're another team just a move away. Get yourself that and get yourself a genuine backup like playmaker that can get stuff for other guys. Lineups where you can put in a Jaren Jackson for a brief time to have some secondary shot creation, or a Desmond Bain or a Jaw to put side by side. So there's moves to be made. They, like you said, they've got the draft picks, but I don't really know if they have the player capital
Yeah.
to move like they maybe once had. So
Yeah. I'm
um,
with you.
interesting spot, but with John Morant back, that means we're gonna see a shitload of highlights. The dude is he's so fun to watch. I really hope he turns a new leaf as far as just off
Yeah.
the court stuff. Like it's not like he, doing some crazy shit like the Comanche dude who just got arrested for murder, but like some G leaguer, ex G
Oh, on the
leaguer.
Kings on the
Yeah.
yeah, I saw that.
John ain't doing that, but
Yeah.
like, still just
A lot of
stop
pocket stuff.
posting pictures and shit with fucking guns. Jesus, it's not difficult. Play with them on your own time. Like, but yeah, I digress. Anyways, that's about it. That's all we've got for you today. Again, Levine, no trade, Bulls not moving anyone. To me, that's still the first domino to fall in all this. So, we're closing in on the new year. So maybe we'll see something happen before then. If not, yeah. Do you have
Yeah.
any closing thoughts? Anything else?
Donovan Mitchell is in some rumors at the moment. Not too many, but some stuff. I've seen the Heat are one of the bigger teams that would like to swing for him. Obviously the Knicks, that mix, of course. They're not going to get him though. It's the Knicks, but
They're always saying they're fucking in for shit. Yeah.
yeah, but that's something that might be big later on. But that's just something I've heard if it doesn't work out for Cleveland, and as we've seen with Darius Garland out for a few weeks and Mobley out for months, right?
Yeah. He's
So there,
out. Then Darius with the jaw injury.
yeah,
So
weird situation there. But yeah, I've seen Donovan. Is he a free agent this year or is it next year?
I don't think, 'cause I think he's got like 2, 3 years left.
I don't know why that he's even a rumor then, but who
I
knows?
just think it's a fit thing. Like two small guards, both ball dominant. It's the same thing with Allen. It's like they're all four great players, but again, it's just redundant.
Yeah,
Like they just clog the floor for everyone.
no,
Darius Garland is a strict pick and roll player.
yeah,
Donovan Mitchell is a downhill threat. That's where he becomes a threat as a shooter, is because
yeah,
he's so effective at driving. But then you've got two paint cloggers like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. So you either have to constantly, rotate who's playing where, or you keep them all on the same floor and maybe have a good defensive net rating, but everything else suffers. So, in my opinion, the Warriors should get Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen and trade Andrew Wiggins, Chris Paul, uh, Jonathan Kuminga, and 5 first-round picks and 5 second-round picks. Trade everything and bring in Donovan Mitchell and bring in Jared Allen, and we're going to the fucking finals. And that's the note I'm going to leave it on. We're finals bound, baby. Donovan Mitchell's a Warrior. Confirmed. You heard it here first. That being said, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Go over to Dominic's channel, In the Moment Hoops. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe over there. His link will be in the description, as always. Have a good rest of your night. Potentially Merry Christmas. We'll see if there's an upload before then as well. If not, have a great holidays, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.